Okay, in this segment, we're going to talk about bounding posture and bounding tempo. So I'm going to have my assistant Devin here show her profile, and all we're looking to do is basically, if Devin were to look down her stomach, she would look for her shoelaces, and she would pull her hips back until she could see them. Perfect. And then maybe tuck her hips under just a little bit, then bring her head back to neutral. And all we've essentially done was stacked her shoulders over her hips, over her knees, over her ankles. That's going to get you in a much more athletic neutral position, which is going to allow you to bound up and down more repetitively. And the other thing is our eye line. Now, we want your eyes to either go straight forward at the horizon, and that's going to allow you to track and see the blur of the rope moving in front of you, or eye line down at a 45 degree, and that's going to allow you to use your peripheral vision so you can start tracking your hands to see what your hand position is. So those are really key elements. I'm not a big fan of people looking up because that takes you out of context with everything going around you. Okay? So next, now that we have our nice bounding posture, we're going to talk about our bounding tempo. Now, it's really important that your bound height dictates your rope speed, okay? Meaning we don't want you to get the rope moving really fast and then try and get your body to catch up to that. That's really hard to do. It's much better if you set your bound height and you give the rope the direction of how fast it needs to go to clear that space. So we're big proponents for low, quick singles and really tall, slow double unders. Low, quick singles, really tall double unders. So I'm going to have Devin start off with what we call a heel tap. And this is just to kind of get her primed. So she's just going to barely lift her heels off the ground, and she's activating her calves. She's applying pressure into the balls of her feet. She's not using any knee bend right now. So that's a heel tap. Now she's going to take that into a single under bound. So just enough to lift off the ground. That's all we need to get over the rope for a single under. Again, we don't really need much knee bend. This gets us on and off the ground quicker. Now we go into a double under. Her heels are going to elevate off the ground. She's using more knee flex, incorporating her quads so that she can drive down into the balls of her feet and get a bigger takeoff. What does a triple under look like? There we go. That's nice. Perfect. Thanks, Devin. Okay, so the reason we like low quick singles and tall doubles is that essentially it's going to create the same wrist motion. When you have a quick single, you're going to have a nice little quick tempo wrist motion turning the rope over. When you simply add height into that bound, the rope is already moving on pace for what you need to clear an easy double under. So let's recap. Low quick single, high slow double. It's really the same wrist motion is what we're shooting for. A great drill that you can do to reinforce low quick singles and high slow doubles is the tape line drill. So I'm going to have Devin turn around and step up to the wall. She's going to get about a shoe distance away from the wall. You can start off with a little bit more space until you get comfortable. And what we did is we put one tape line just above her eye line, somewhere in the forehead range. And then the second tape line, we kicked it up about a good 8 inches or so above her eyes. And those are going to be her targets to look for when she starts her bounding. So we're going to start her off with her heel taps. And she's trying to keep her eyes below the line on her heel taps, low and quick, low and quick. Now she's going into her single unders, still keeping her eyes below the line. Now we're going to go into double under bounds and see if we can get our eyes above the line. Look for the line. There we go. Now we're reaching over it. Perfect. Great job. That's also a great drill to reinforce good body alignment, because if your body is getting too wonky, you're gonna potentially hit the wall. So we want to avoid that. And you want to try and get a little closer the better you get at it. Now, another good drill you can do is the circle drill. And with this one, we're simply going to draw a circle. It's about probably a little over a foot in diameter. That's about right. I wear a size 12 shoe. And I'm going to get Devin in the circle. She's going to go through the same sequence. 5 single under bound, or excuse me, 5 heel taps, 5 single under bounds, right into 5 double under bounds. I might even give her a target across the room and say, okay, hey, see that door jamb? Keep your eyes below the door jamb on your heel taps and singles, then climb above the door jamb for your double unders. Let's give that a try. 5, 5, and 5. Nice and quick. Nice and quick. Now she's going to get above that line. Beautiful. There we go, and we're still in the circle. So that tells me that she kept really nice posture and body alignment, kept that athletic neutral, and was able to stay in one spot during her bounding. That's going to be huge on your double under training. In this segment, we're going to talk about arm and hand positioning as well as drive mechanics. Now, this is really important because this is going to set the tone of the relationship between your rope and your body. So it's really critical that we get everything in the right position. So let's talk about what that is. We're going to look at Devin here, and basically, Devin, go ahead and just relax your arms down by your side. We're going to be in our normal relaxed position, shoulders disengaged, and all we want to do is simply point our elbows back, raise our hands up to the middle of our body, turn our palms forward. That's how we're going to hold our handles. And there we have it. We have created an axis of rotation now at the center of her body to allow the rope to have even turnover overhead and underfoot. So let's go over that again. Relax your arms down. All we're doing is bringing our elbows back, wrists up, turn the palms forward, and there we have it. So if you can turn that way, Devin, and let's look at a profile view of that. What's really critical here is elbows are back. We have about a 90-degree or slightly less than 90-degree angle in the arms, and her elbows are behind her back, which is huge because that's going to allow her to keep her wrists at the front of her hips. Very important, because this positioning allows her to maintain consistent contact where the rope touches the ground in front of her toes. If this position moves out of whack, that's going to change the contact point of the rope. So this is why we really want to try and isolate, keep our wrists right outside our hip crease and elbows pointing back. Obviously, if our hands go wide, that's going to bring the rope in closer to our toes as well. So this is huge. This is where we see the biggest failure, is that people don't keep their hands in a nice isolated position to really manage where that rope touches the ground and passes under the toes. Now, one thing that we want to really think about once we're in this position is, I'm going to take this from you, Devin, is that we drive the rope with our elbow and we guide the rope with our wrist. Your elbow is your driver, your wrist is the steering mechanism. So let's just say that it's a lot like shaking water off your hands. What's that look like? Yeah, we've all done that. Our hands are wet, trying to just shake the water off, and it's just this quick little flicking motion, and we're actually letting gravity help us generate downward momentum with a quick little flick of her elbow right to the wrist turns the rope over. There you go, yeah, mimic a rope turnover. Exactly, this is what we're shooting for, and you can see while she's doing this, her shoulders are really relaxed and disengaged. So let's talk about a couple of things you can do to check in on this. If we look at this mirror, Devin can stand at a profile to the mirror and see what that looks like. See where her hand position is in relation to her hip bone. See where her elbows are in relation to her back. And she can kind of add a heel tap if she wants, add a little bit of movement, single under bounds, double under bounds, take it up. Yeah, and mimic the motion. Excellent. Another great drill that we like to use for a good check-in, a good visual check-in for people, is called framing. And one way that you can do this is get a wet erase marker and draw a frame on the mirror, or if you're using a reflection in a window, draw a frame there. This might be a little bit oblong. And Devin, go ahead and face the frame. And can you position yourself inside that box? And then go ahead and go through your bounding sequence again, and just try and keep your body inside that frame. Just make sure your hands don't fly outside of it. How's that feel? Good. You see it? Yeah, and you could also do that with the jump rope in your hands, actually. You can do the same thing. Draw that frame, have a jump rope, and see if you can stay inside and keep track of your hand placement. Now, another thing that we like to do, this will give you a little bit more direct feedback of what you're doing, is grab these trainers. You can even go buy some rope and just cut them down to about 3-foot sections, tie them in a knot if you like. So let's just get those rotating right beside you. And all we're trying to do is just get that nice, relaxed little elbow snap to a wrist turnover. Elbow snap to a wrist turnover. And the cool thing about this drill is that you can work on angling the knots forward. Okay, that's where we work on our steering technique, is by getting the knots turning evenly forward beside you. She's doing a great job of keeping everything in position. Yeah, that's perfect. Great job, Devin. So to recap your arm and hand positioning, really important, elbows should be pointing backwards. Bring your hands up to your basically pocket level, hip crease to hip bone, turn the palms forward, and maintain that positioning, because that's going to really dictate where that rope makes nice, light contact on the ground, creates good separation. That'll get you on the road to success.